Hello and welcome back to FASoS for another monthly vlog. I'm Matthew, one of the master's students here. And this month's vlog we're going to be talking about the international character of FASoS. So FASoS is perhaps the university's most international faculty. It's got over 76% of students here come from outside of the Netherlands, and equally 42% of staff come from outside of the Netherlands as well. I mean, I'm sure you've looked on a map at where Maastricht sits in Europe. It's quite central. You've got Belgium to one side and Germany to the other, and Luxembourg just a couple of 100 kilometers to the south as well. So the city and the location is already really quite ambient. It's quite international. There's lots of different languages around here, and that translates beautifully into FASoS as well. I mean, we can't forget about the Maastricht Treaty that was signed here, which being British, it's a bit too soon to talk about, but we'll move on from that quite quickly. So moving into FASoS, you'll start to hear different languages in the corridors. You'll hear people speaking German and French, of course, being so close. But there's also a lot of more exotic languages as well. There's students from Brazil, from the Middle East, like Kuwait and Syria, places like that. So you'll never be far away from someone with a really interesting story to tell. And for me, that's part of what makes FASoS such an enlightening and such an interesting place to study. Because you're not surrounded by people who are just like you, who are boring, perhaps you've heard all their stories before. This is really, really interesting place to be, and a really interesting place to study because of how all people come together. I mean, one important thing to note as well is that all courses are taught in English. So assuming you speak English, you won't have trouble communicating, and being a native English speaker, I have to say the level of English language here is amazing. You'd be forgiven for thinking that you weren't actually in England. So hopefully that's a bit of an insight into the international character here at FASoS. But if you've any further questions, please get in touch with one of our student ambassadors who'd be more than happy to help, and I'll see you in the next video.